Hi viewers, another episode of Guest with Nazir. Today we have selective subject which is charity, and we are honored that today's personality is manager of Cash for Kids, Allan Ogle. Welcome to our show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Allan, please tell our viewers about your childhood and your education.
Okay, I grew up in Cleethorpes in North East Lincolnshire by the seaside. I grew up with living with my mother, two older sisters and a younger half brother. I also have a younger half sister in quite a large family. I went to school at Middlethorpe in the juniors and the Lindsay School in my secondary years, and then I left and had a spell at Grimsby College. Sort of deciding what I wanted to do. Was very keen on getting into the work environment, and then literally in 2003 I decided to move to Sheffield just to expand my horizons and see what was kind of out and about other than where I grew up, somewhere where I've settled in recent times, and that's where I'm pretty much at up to now. Education-wise, I've since recently studied with the Chartered Institute of Public Relations, learning a lot about PR, publicity, which has been a lot of work that I've kind of developed in volunteering and some of my recent job roles.
So in terms of education, what is your view about today's school education at yours and your time when you were a student?
I think it's tougher. I think the standards are being set higher. I think there's a lot of pressure there. It's still very important. I think for what you want to do in life, if you've got any specific goals, there's definitely some grades that you need and some that will still be with you there. Maths and English, for example, are still very important in pretty much everything that you want to do. The majority of further education providers and employers will expect reasonable grades at Maths and English, but it also gives you a head start if you put the work in at that age.
So you're working with the local schools. So what is your role with the local schools?
I'm a parent governor, or also a director at the St Patrick's Catholic Community Academy, based in Sheffield Lane Top. My two sons attend the school, and I wanted to have a large say on the running of the school, and being part of the governing team, I've got a good part in how the school's run. So it's a good opportunity.
So for our viewers, so what is the role of a governor? So in the school matters, daily matters?
The simple answer is you're the boss of the head teacher. The head teacher very much relies on a governing team to provide guidance and monitor how the school's being run, the education standards, the finances and everything that the school needs to run, really, recruitment on top. We get involved with a lot of things, the events that the school run, everything from down to how the school's financed and as such. There are subcommittees involved as well, that some focus specifically on tasks like education, on finance and other governing areas, and particularly the religion side as well. And so between the team, we all have different roles within that, and we do meet usually every term and every half term to discuss how the school's running.
Does the governing body has any say on the syllabus of the school or how the curriculum will be settled or no?
The school was recently made an academy, which in my personal opinion is great news because a lot of the control of the school is locally fed. I think the issue with having the kind of the answers at a kind of a wider level, sometimes there'll be two schools next to each other. Doesn't necessarily mean they'll be the same. They have different people and different characteristics, and there's so many different agendas which make up a good school, that you do need to have a lot more local authority to run it, but literally within those four walls of the school, if you like. So only the teachers, the parents, and will kind of know everything about that. So the academy status has allowed the school to have a lot more control in what they want to do for its academic status, if you like, and what they want to develop.
Please tell our viewers about your charity work and how your charity is helping at the grassroots level.
Okay, well, my charity work started probably 5 or 6 years ago. I started volunteering more to develop my career, to be honest. It was an opportunity to gain some experience and to meet some new people, and just to open some new doors really to see what else was out there. Started organising a lot of events for local children's charities, and I decided literally last year I took redundancy from my job to seek going into the profession full time. Now I met up with Hallam FM's Cash for Kids, and I was just kind of bowled over by the work that they do. And they fundraise full-time all year round, and they distribute funds locally to local causes, so it just covers kind of the South Yorkshire area. I'm a big localist myself. I do like supporting, where I live and in the area and everything, so I am very passionate about supporting local causes, and they seem to tick all the boxes for that. Now the actual support, it covers everything from an individual child within the family to an entire community project, for example, that might cover, service a whole area, and that's the part that I like about it.
So what is the criteria if somebody wants to join your charity, or if somebody wants to have some kind of influence in that charity, how they can help you?
Okay, well, in terms of the applying for the funding, it's pretty much open to any child that's suffering any form of disability, disadvantage, or sickness. We provide grants for anything from, let's say, individual families to community groups and organisations. I think the key element is, and another part I like, is that we do support other charities as well. We do have lots of local charities, some of the lesser known ones that kind of approach us for support. If they're working with children that need, whether it's equipment, whether it's just something to improve the quality of life, that's pretty much where we are. From a stakeholder side, I mean, we work with lots of corporate businesses, we work with schools, and that's obviously how we raise the funds throughout the year. And Hallam FM runs campaigns usually 3 to 4 times a year live on air, so that the public and the listening viewers from Hallam FM can get involved and they can donate, and the money that's raised there will actually go towards the grants that are distributed across the area.
So what is your favourite mode to collect the charity money? Because sometimes people do sports, sometimes people do activities, races. So what is your favourite part?
I think it's difficult to find one, because we have so many passionate supporters and they do so many different things. We obviously there's a lot of interest in things like marathons, where people might do a run, a triathlon, or a hike and all these types of challenges. But I think the biggest thing is when people have a lot of fun doing it. We work with a lot of corporates, things like call centres, and they can all dress up and they have a lot of fun whilst doing it. So it helps enjoy the job, and it helps with the morale in the teams, but also they're actually supporting the local cause as well. I'd probably say that's my favourite, because there's just so many options on what they can do.
So you are based in the local region, or you also go beyond that boundary?
Well, we're an umbrella of charities. So the parent company of Hallam FM is Bauer Media, and they have radio stations throughout the UK. Each radio station has its own branch of Cash for Kids. Now the benefit of that is that we share the same events, the same times, the same governance at the top level, so it's much cheaper to run. And basically, we've got a bank account which is managed within this area, which is where I'm based. There's only 2 of us in the team, so that manage the whole of South Yorkshire, all the activity in and out, and we manage every penny that comes in and out. The benefits of that as well, I mean, we're based at Hallam FM, and we're fortunate we don't pay any rent, so our overheads are extremely low, and we actually contribute 92 pence to the pound that's donated to the charity goes straight to the cause. So compared to maybe a national charity, for example, the contribution is much higher than what you get supporting a local cause.
How you see the role of charities for elimination of poverty in the world?
It's very, very difficult. I think there's a lot of challenges out there, which is actually increasing poverty. We tend to find that the majority of our applications are around poverty. We do a lot of work with social workers across all the councils across South Yorkshire, also Bassett Law Council that covers sort of Worksop and North Derbyshire. I think it's very, very challenging. I think it's difficult for us to say that we're ever going to end something like that, but we're working as best as we can to be there as a support to them. We actually supported 62,500 children in 2014 alone, and nearly 35,000 of that was just related around poverty, abuse and neglect. So it's quite an alarming number, really. So as good as it is that we're supporting that many children, it's also quite horrifying at the same time that there's that many children in need out there. So we're continuing to work as much as we can. These increasing partnerships that are out there, raising awareness for the grant procedure as well, that more people can apply, will hopefully, take us to another level that we can support as many children as possible.
Do you think your charity should increase the goalpost now towards the food banks and helping people, because there is poverty and the people who are having difficulties economically, they need much more help in our society here in this country?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we need as much support as we can get, to be completely honest. Although we're raising lots of money as much as we can and we're helping more people, the demand always is much, much higher. So we encourage anybody to apply for us for any funding that will support any disadvantaged children. So that's what we're really trying to promote through our website, and which is where you apply for the funds. The food banks, I believe, is a very, very good idea. I think there's been a lot of positive press around that over the last few years, and there's more of them beginning to open. So it's definitely something that's a benefit to communities that are starting to struggle.
I want particularly your comment on this gesture, that particularly near Christmas time, a lot of charities work with the homeless people and poor people. Mm-hmm. But soon after the Christmas time goes off, so once the season is ending, then the people are in the same condition. Do you think that this support should be continued?
Well, basically how we operate is we have a huge campaign at Christmas called Mission Christmas, and the public will, the businesses and everybody that supports us will donate a gift, and we distribute that across, again working with the social workers across the area, to all the children that need it. We believe that no child should wake up on Christmas morning without a gift, but at the same time it's still the same approach that we have throughout the rest of the year. So when we come to January and Christmas is over and it's the start of a new year and there's new ideas, new adventures, we're actually still the same as we were the previous year. We're still there when there's people needing our help and support. So nothing changes from our approach. I think as long as the approach is similar to that, where the people that are in demand for your service know that you're going to be there all the time, rather than just being like a one-trick pony or something, that you can kind of be there.
So how people can contact your charity if they want to help you?
Well, if they go through Hallam FM's website, there's a charity section on there which is dedicated to Cash for Kids. It lists everything that we do, from the fundraising side to the campaigns that run on Hallam FM, and also the grant giving side. There's some case studies and stories on there. There's a selection of videos, and it shows you all the good that comes out of the money that we invest, and also how to apply for the funding as well. The good thing about the funding is it's very easy to apply for. The application form is only about 3 pages. You need some supporting evidence, maybe from a local doctor or the supporting organisation that's part of the cause, and then the local board will review the applications 3 times a year, so you don't have to wait an awful amount of time for a decision on if you're accepted for a grant.
Allan, any project you have done for any family or a kid which you feel that really touch your heart, if you want to share with our viewers? There's
probably too many. I think one that stands out is recent applications that we've had, where there's a family that basically got there'll be a mother with 3 children, and she's been moved into emergency housing, and the children don't even have a bed to sleep on. Obviously for data protection I can't announce the names and things, but yeah, I think there's children there that, and again, some probably don't even realise that it's any different. And the fact that there's a child out there that hasn't got a bed to sleep in is actually quite disturbing to anybody. And the application was simply just for beds for the children to sleep in. So we decided, well, we got the application in and managed to obviously fund that. We decorated the room as well, just to improve the quality of their life for that child. Probably just needed a much needed lift and possibly some inspiration in the life to make them go on to better things. So there's so many stories that we get through that are like that sometimes these things happen on your doorstep. There's probably somebody within a stone's throw of your house. The poverty figures are almost 1 in 3 in South Yorkshire now. So there's it's a high case that there's somebody that's living near you who's possibly going through some other challenges in life, and that's what we're here for, to try and make a difference for them.
How you see the importance of charity work in any society?
It's absolutely vital now. There's a lot of increased awareness, I think, in the national media, the television, and to tell about the work. They're trying to do it in a fun and positive way, which is what we do with the campaigns, and to try and get people to engage and interact. So it's absolutely vital because there's so many support services out there, the NHS and the councils, but there's only so much they can do, there's only so much funding they receive. So I'm never a person that's really critical of that. If anything, it's more about what we can do to support. And I think that's pretty much what has inspired me to get into the role and try and do as much as we can.
What is your view about that government should also come forward for these causes and help the poor families?
Again, there's a challenge with things like funding and things, which seems to be the biggest thing at the moment. I think the funding seems to be a barrier to everything. So as many support services are out there, again, the government, they need help as well. They need help from the local councils. I generally find I'm quite a positive person, so my approach on a personal opinion would be, what can I do to help rather than actually complain about it? So I think if there's a lot more positivity out there in terms of, instead of criticising a local council, for example, actually what could myself or a group of people do, my neighbours or my friends or my family, what can we do if we got together and actually said we're going to make a difference, that might actually be able to support them.
But we are living in welfare state, the responsibility is not state.
They do have responsibilities, but again, that would look forward on the same as businesses as well in terms of supporting local communities and local areas. But I think this is such a wide-scale thing now that it's going to almost be impossible to cover everything. And that's why it's important for the people to obviously liaise with the council as well, the services or NHS, whoever it is. If there's an underdeliverance of a service, for example, the feedback to them is vital so that they can improve that. But at the same time, I think they probably appreciate much support, whether it's volunteering, whether it's kind of taking some proactive approach, if you like, to try and help.
So what is your short message for our viewers today?
To absolutely keep supporting local charities. I think the amount of work that we do, it's becoming vital. So many causes and so many families are coming to us as the last resort for funding, really. Like I explained, there's children out there that haven't got a bed. There's other children that are living, obviously really under the quality of life that they want. And sometimes it's the little gestures that can make a huge difference. It's not about what tens of thousands of pounds can do. Actually, what you can do with £50 is quite unreal. So the message is, if you've got any kind of support that you need, obviously get in touch. All the information's on our website. But at the same time, we still need support. So if you're working for a local business, there's so many things that you can do now to fundraise. It's not always just about standing there shaking a bucket. There's many creative ways you can fundraise now that can, support your local community. So definitely get in touch.
Thank you, Allan. Viewers, I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Yes, of course, charity is very important for any society, and I'm sure you will agree with this point. Please keep watching Sheffield Live TV. Thank you.